Am I the asshole for telling my wife I don't trust her anymore and demanding a paternity test after seeing her texts? I honestly don't even know where to start, or if I'm just completely losing my mind. I've typed and deleted this like 5 times. I just need someone outside of this mess to tell me if I'm overreacting, because my wife is making me feel like I'm a paranoid, controlling monster. Look, I know our marriage hasn't been a fairy tale lately. I'll be the first to admit that. The last couple of years have been brutal because we've been trying for a baby with zero luck. The doctor visits, the timed intimacy, the negative tests every month, it completely drained us. I'll admit I handled it badly. I withdrew. I threw myself into my maintenance contracts at work just to avoid the heavy, depressing silence at home. I stopped holding her hand. I stopped trying to be romantic because everything just felt like a clinical chore. So when things started feeling off a few months ago, I initially thought it was just the natural consequence of us drifting apart. But it was weird, subtle things. She used to leave her phone everywhere, on the kitchen counter, the bathroom sink, whatever. Suddenly, it was like an extra appendage. She took it into the shower with her. If we were watching TV and it buzzed, she'd snatch it up, quickly silence it without looking, and put it face down under her thigh. I asked her about it once, and she just snapped that her boss was being a nightmare and she didn't want to think about work. It sounded logical. I mean, her office is toxic. But then her style changed. She's a jeans and messy bun kind of girl, but suddenly she was waking up 40 minutes early to do a full face of makeup for a random Tuesday. She bought new underwear. And she started coming home late. Not crazy late, like 30 or 40 minutes. She always blamed traffic or a late meeting. Our sex life, which was already strained, completely died. If I tried to kiss her neck, she'd physically stiffen up and say she had a migraine. I felt rejected, but I also felt guilty, thinking, well, you ignored her for months, what did you expect? Then Friday happened. I got off work early. I bought her favorite takeout, trying to make an effort. I was sitting on the couch when her phone, which she had forgotten on the coffee table while she was in the shower, started vibrating like crazy. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys to make myself look like the good guy. I didn't accidentally look. I actively picked it up. My stomach was in knots, and I just needed to know. It was a guy from her office named Morrow. I couldn't open the phone, but the lock screen previews were enough. Asterisk, miss you. Thinking about what you said yesterday. Asterisk. Asterisk, let me know if you can get out for a bit tonight. I really want to see you. Asterisk. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. When she came out of the bathroom, towel on her head, she smiled at me. I just held up the phone. I asked her, completely deadpan, who Morrow was. The color completely drained from her face. She didn't look confused, she looked terrified. She stammered and immediately went into the, "it's not what it looks like," routine. I lost it. I yelled. I'm not proud of it, but I screamed at her, asking if she was screwing him. She started sobbing, swearing up and down that nothing physical had ever happened. She said Morrow was just a work friend who was going through a divorce, and they had started talking, and he just misinterpreted her kindness. But then she flipped it on me. She sat on the couch crying, saying that she only talked to him because I had completely abandoned her emotionally. She said I made her feel like an incubator for 2 years and that Morrow was the first person to ask her how her day was in months. That hit me hard. Because she's not entirely wrong. I was distant. I did shut down. She made me feel so guilty for my part in the breakdown of our marriage that I ended up apologizing for yelling. But now I'm sitting here, sleeping in the guest room, and my brain won't stop. Platonic friends don't text, "I really want to see you," at 7 p.m. on a Friday. Am I crazy? She swears she shut him down, but I don't believe her. But I also feel like this is partly my fault. ITA for telling her I don't trust her anymore and that this is cheating, even if it wasn't physical? Update 1. Okay, so I read through all the comments. Some of you were really supportive, and some of you absolutely tore me to shreds. To the people saying I'm an idiot for staying, I hear you. Believe me, when I read your comments, I feel like a pathetic doormat. But it's easy to say, just pack your bags, when it's not your life, your house, your dog, your 4 years of memories. And to the people who called me a toxic, controlling asshole for looking at her phone, fair enough. I invaded her privacy. I own that. We didn't divorce. After a week of living like hostile roommates, I broke down and told her we needed couples therapy or I was going to a lawyer. She agreed immediately. She actually looked relieved, which confused the hell out of me. Therapy has been a nightmare, honestly. It's not this magical healing space. It's basically paying a professional to watch us trigger each other. During our third session, the therapist really pushed her on the Morrow thing. I was sitting there, arms crossed, expecting my wife to double down on the "he was just a friend" excuse. But she broke down. She looked at the floor and admitted that she liked the attention. She said Morrow made her feel attractive and desired at a time when I couldn't even look at her without getting depressed about our fertility issues. Hearing her say that out loud, it physically hurt. It felt worse than if she had just slapped me. But she swore, looking me dead in the eyes, crying so hard she was choking on her words, that they never slept together. She said she stopped it before it crossed that line. And a part of me believed her. She looked so broken, so genuinely ashamed. I wanted to believe her so badly. The therapist asked me if I could forgive her. I don't know. I said I wanted to try. We've been trying to force things back to normal. We started having sex again, but it's awkward and weirdly aggressive. It's like we're both trying to prove something. I'll be kissing her, and suddenly my brain will supply an image of Morrow texting her, and I go completely soft. Then I get angry at her, she gets frustrated, and we go to sleep back to back. She has been entirely transparent with her phone now. She leaves it unlocked. She told me she blocked him. She comes straight home. But I find myself randomly checking her location on my phone while I'm at work. I'm turning into this paranoid, anxious freak, and I hate who I am right now. I don't know if I'm punishing her, or punishing myself. Sometimes we have a good Sunday, we cook together, we laugh, and I think, okay, we can survive this. But then her phone will get a spam text, and my heart rate spikes to 140. I know I'm not handling this right. I don't know how to just move on. Update 2. I feel like throwing up just typing this. A few of you in my DMs warned me that the transparent phone thing is a classic cheater tactic because they just move the affair to a work phone or email. I told you guys you were being paranoid. I guess I'm the idiot. 3 weeks ago, things were actually feeling somewhat stable. The tension was lifting. Then, she sat me down on the couch, looking incredibly nervous, and told me she was pregnant. Guys, we tried for 2 years. We cried over so many negative tests. In a normal universe, this would be the happiest day of my life. And for exactly 5 seconds, it was. I hugged her. I cried. She cried. But then, almost instantly, this toxic, dark thought crept into the back of my mind. The timing. I didn't say anything to her. I smiled, I went to the store, I bought the prenatal vitamins. I played the part of the ecstatic husband. But that night, while she was sleeping, I pulled up the calendar on my phone. I traced back the weeks to her estimated conception window. It lined up exactly with the worst month of our marriage. The month she was coming home late. The month she was guarding her phone. The month we had sex maybe once or twice, and it was that awful, disconnected sex. I told myself I was spiraling. I spent a week trying to push the thoughts away. Asterisk, you're being crazy. You have low sperm count, it's a miracle, just accept it. Asterisk, but the paranoia was eating me alive. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. So, 2 days ago, I did something awful. She asked me to print a PDF from her laptop because I had the printer drivers on it. She walked into the kitchen to make tea. I didn't just print the document. I opened her Gmail. I searched Morrow's name. There was an email in her sent folder from a week before she told me she was pregnant. It was addressed to Morrow's personal email. The subject line was, asterisk, the news. Asterisk. The body just said, asterisk, I'm pregnant. Please don't contact me again. I'm focusing on my marriage. Asterisk. I felt the blood rush out of my head. I didn't even confront her right then. I just closed the laptop, went to the bathroom, and threw up my lunch. Why would she need to tell a work friend she never slept with that she's pregnant? Why would she tell him before she told her own husband? I confronted her yesterday morning. I was shaking. I didn't yell this time. My voice was just dead. I asked her why she emailed Morrow. She froze. She started hyperventilating. She said she just felt guilty about their emotional affair and thought it was the right thing to officially close the door by telling him she was starting a family. I told her that made zero logical sense. I told her I wanted a paternity test the second that baby was born. She absolutely lost her mind. I've never seen her like this. She screamed at me. She called me a sick, paranoid abuser. She said I was trying to ruin the only blessing we ever got. She sobbed so hard she threw up in the kitchen sink. She looked at me with pure hatred and said, if you make me do this test, our marriage is over, no matter the result. Her reaction honestly made me doubt myself. What if it is my baby? What if she really is just a terrible communicator who sent a stupid closure email? If it's mine, I just completely destroyed the happiest moment of her life. Her mother called me last night, screaming at me, calling me a monster for stressing out a pregnant woman. Even my own sister told me I was taking it too far. I don't know what to do. I'm sleeping in my car right now because I can't be in that house. I feel like a villain, but I also feel like I'm the only one seeing reality. I'm demanding the test. I have to know. Update 3. I really didn't want to log back into this account. Every time I open this app, I just feel a wave of humiliation. But a lot of you have been messaging me for months asking for an update, and I guess writing this out is my cheap version of therapy right now. The baby was born. It's a boy. The last few months of the pregnancy were hell. We existed in this brutal Cold War. She was visibly depressed, dragging herself around the house, and every time I looked at her massive belly, I felt a mix of intense love and absolute disgust. I questioned myself every single day. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my sperm finally worked. Maybe I'm ruining my family over my own insecurities. When her water broke, all the anger disappeared. Instinct just took over. I drove her to the hospital, I held her hand while she screamed, I fed her ice chips. I watched this tiny screaming baby come into the world, and I cut the cord. When they handed him to me, he felt so heavy and warm, and I cried. I cried so hard I couldn't see. I looked at his little face, trying to find my nose or my eyes. I convinced myself right then and there that he was mine. I almost told her to forget the test. I almost did. But 2 days after we brought him home, the paranoia came back. I couldn't look at the baby without wondering. I bought a non-invasive DNA swab kit. I didn't ask her this time. I didn't want another screaming match. I just did it while she was taking a nap and mailed it out. I know some of you are going to judge me for doing it behind her back. Frankly, I don't care anymore. Waiting for those results was psychological torture. I was waking up at 3 a.m. to feed him, rocking him to sleep, smelling his head, falling entirely in love with this kid, while knowing I might have to walk away from him. The email came on a Tuesday afternoon. I was sitting in my truck in the driveway. I opened the PDF. Paternity excluded. 0% probability of paternity. I didn't react. I just stared at the screen until my phone locked itself. I didn't feel vindicated. I didn't feel like the smart guy who caught his cheating wife. I just felt like my chest was caving in. I walked into the house. She was on the couch, folding tiny onesies. I just handed her my phone. She looked at the screen, and the noise she made. I will never forget it as long as I live. It wasn't a cry, it was like an animal dying. She dropped to the floor. She grabbed my legs, sobbing, begging, snot running down her face. The truth finally came out. It wasn't just an emotional affair. She said it happened twice. 2 times, in Morrow's car, after work. She said she felt so unloved and broken by our infertility that she just wanted to feel alive for a second. She swore to God she thought the baby was mine because we had slept together around the same time. She begged me not to leave her. She said I was the only man she loved. I didn't yell. I didn't even feel angry. I just felt completely empty. I looked down at her, this woman I had spent 4 years building a life with, and I felt absolutely nothing. I packed a bag and went to a hotel. That was 3 months ago. We are getting divorced. It hasn't been a clean, satisfying, revenge ending. It's just messy and sad. The legal part was surprisingly easy. She didn't fight me on anything. I signed the papers waiving all parental rights. Legally, I have no tie to that child. But emotionally, it's a fucking disaster. I still wake up in the middle of the night thinking I hear a baby crying. I miss the dog she took with her. I miss my house. I miss the life I thought I had. I know Morrow isn't in the picture. He transferred to a different branch and ghosted her the minute she told him the baby was his. So she's raising this kid alone in a small apartment. Sometimes, I catch myself feeling sorry for her. Sometimes, I have this sick, weak thought where I wish I had never done the test, so I could just be living in blissful ignorance raising a son. I'm in therapy now. My therapist says I'm grieving, but honestly, mostly I'm just angry. Angry at her for destroying us. Angry at myself for being a distant husband when she needed me. Angry that I loved a kid for a week that wasn't mine. I don't know if I'll ever trust a woman again. I don't know if I even want to. I'm just existing right now. Thanks to the people who told me I wasn't crazy. I wish you had been wrong.
What would you have done in this situation? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more Reddit stories. Thanks for watching.